Well, today's been kind of a weird day. It's only Monday and I feel like I've already had an entire week. It wasn't necessarily a bad day, just a lot of stuff happened. So last night we had a really bad storm and I don't know if that's what caused it, but basically we didn't have internet at my job all day. And my job specifically requires the internet. I had a ton of editing to do and you can't even get into Premiere without internet access. So that wasn't working. My boss did let everyone in the office go home though to get their work done. But before I could go home, I had to go into a classroom. I work at a university and teach students how to shoot videos on their phones. Give them like tips of what to shoot, how to do it, things like that. It's kind of a weird experience. I've never really done that before, so I was a little bit nervous, but I think it went well. I go back in like 2 days to review their footage and give additional tips and critique it a little bit for them. Anyway, I came home, did a bunch of editing for work, then did a bunch of editing for this YouTube channel. And now it's like 6:30 and I'm gonna cook a bunch of stuff. I ran out of the eggs that I made in one of my previous videos that I've been eating for suhoor, so I'm gonna make some overnight oats. And then I also picked up some egg roll wrappers that I'm gonna fill with a whole bunch of stuff. And I got these dinner roll biscuits here. They're currently trying to rise. If they don't rise properly, I forgot to put them out at a reasonable time, so I don't know if they're gonna rise. If they don't, we're not gonna use them. But anyway, I'm using this dough as kind of a cheat to make a few other things because I don't want to make my own dough. I've done it before and it's very time consuming and I'm just not about that tonight. I'm also gonna make some adas, which is lentil soup. That's gonna be our main meal, and then we're gonna have this sort of stuff in addition with some salad. Oh, I'm so hungry. Okay, let's do some cooking. I like to make two different kinds of overnight oats. I like to make a peanut butter chocolate and an apple cinnamon. I actually hated overnight oats the first time I tried them because I didn't realize you could warm them up. I thought you had to eat them cold, and the texture and like temperature, everything about them I absolutely hated. But then I put them in the microwave and I was like, these are actually amazing. So now I'm totally in love with overnight oats. I only make 3 at a time though, because I have noticed that by day 4, they don't taste as good. So I only prep for 3 days at a time. I start with half a cup of oatmeal and a tablespoon of chia seeds. Then I add about a tablespoon of pure maple syrup for sweetness. So that's basically the base for all of my overnight oats. For the peanut butter chocolate one, I then add 1 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 tablespoon of almond butter or peanut butter, and then I sprinkle in some chocolate chips. So when I melt it in the morning, it gets all nice and gooey. And then for the apple cinnamon ones, I put in a whole bunch of cinnamon. I don't measure it, just chuck it in there. I like to add walnuts for some protein and some crunch, and then of course some chopped apples. Final step is to add about a cup of milk. I use almond milk. Give it a really good stir and then stick it in the fridge overnight. That's the name. They're fun. You can pretty much put whatever you want in the oats. Sometimes I like to chuck in some raisins after I heat it up, or some bananas or fresh fruit. Give them a try. They're actually really good. Now I'm making lentil soup, also known as adas. You saute onions and garlic with a little bit of olive oil until they're nice and translucent. Then you wash some lentils and put those in, and you put just enough water to cover the lentils. You cook it. When the water gets absorbed, you add more water, and you keep doing that until they're fully cooked. Some people like to add potatoes and carrots, and then they put it in a blender and make it super smooth. We don't do that. We just do the lentils, and then we also don't blend it because we like the texture of the whole lentils better. I use the orange lentils, and I do about a cup and a half. To the soup, I also add a bouillon cube. I use these Maggi ones. And I add some cumin. Tiny pinch of cinnamon. The soup is finished, and it's time for iftar. I always love putting a squeeze of lemon and then adding some either fresh bread or some fried bread on top, kind of like as a crouton. Just finished eating iftar, and I need to show you guys the current state of my kitchen. It's absolute chaos because I'm making a bunch of things that I want to prepare now, stick in my freezer, and then we can just take them out and cook them individually if we want extra food during iftar, or if we happen to run out of a certain thing, and we have backups in the freezer ready to go. So I have 4 different fillings and 2 different outer wraps, I guess, that I can fill with the fillings. I can tell you what's in it, but I have no idea what the measurements are because I just sort of added stuff until it tasted right. So yeah, no proper recipes, sorry. So let me show you what I got. This first one is a samosa filling. Normally you do like ground beef or something or lamb. I did ground turkey because we're trying to stay away from red meats. There are also peas and potatoes, and then in terms of spices, put in salt and pepper, some chili powder, some garam masala, and some turmeric. Next up, we have another meat mixture. This one is supposed to be sfiha, but instead of using meat, I also used the ground turkey. It's got a little bit of tomato sauce, salt and pepper, and then pine nuts. Over here is just your basic potato filling. It's potatoes with parsley, salt, and pepper. And then the last one is a crab rangoon filling. So I got cream cheese, crab, some scallions. Then I got some Worcestershire sauce, some soy sauce, ginger powder, garlic powder, and black pepper. I have these rolls here that I'm using as dough because I don't want to make dough. It's too time consuming. And then I got spring roll wrappers. I'm going to put the crab rangoon and the samosa filling in these, and then I'm going to put the potato and the sfiha mixture in these. I have been cooking over the last 2 hours. I feel like Ramadan is just so much cooking and then eating for like 10 minutes. And then half of the time when you're cooking, you can't even taste what you're making, so you're not entirely sure if it tastes any good. But you know, you're thankful for food. That's all that matters, is that you have food and you're grateful for it. Kind of wish I did this over the weekend though, because it is a Monday night and I want to be quite tired. Plus I have so many dishes to do, but it's fine. Instead of making like the regular crab rangoon, I'm going to make it more like an egg roll just because it's so much easier to like wrap, and I feel like you get a better distribution. If you guys are celebrating Ramadan right now, what are you making for Iftar? What are you making for Suhoor? Let me know. I'm always curious to figure out what other people are making. We like making traditional food, but we don't eat traditional food like every single night. We like to mix it up. Last night we did have mansaf, which is a Jordanian dish made of fermented goat milk. It's really delicious. Normally you fry these, but I don't like frying things, so I'm going to stick them in the air fryer. They're not going to be quite the same, but I feel like they'll turn out okay. The crab rangoon are out of the air fryer. Other than kind of like exploding in the air fryer, they're pretty good. I didn't want to overcook them, so they're not like super golden. I could probably leave them in for a little bit longer, but they taste done. I'm so exhausted. It is 10 o'clock at night now, and I have just finished doing a stupid amount of dishes. But look at all the food I have. And this one, we have the samosas, which I just folded up like egg rolls because I thought it would be easier. And this one, we have the crab rangoon. Jansen already ate like 3 of these. Here we have the potatoes. And here we have the sfiha. Although the dough is a little bit too thick, so these didn't turn out quite right. I think the potatoes turned out pretty cool though. It's not as good as when I made my own dough, but I just do not have enough time to make dough right now. So I had to use some store-bought stuff. Okay, I am gonna go to sleep now. I am truly exhausted, and I will see you guys inshallah tomorrow. Bye!